I'm running about an hour later than I wanted to be. I can chalk that up to not filling the freshwater tank all the way when I'm filling it. Now, I've done that twice. I thought I filled it all the way up yesterday, but no. First thing this morning, used just a little bit of water, and the pump just runs and runs when it doesn't have enough water, and I gotta imagine that's not good for it. Yeah, that was basically the first trip out there. Was like a waste of time, other than just getting everything set up, because the hose was frozen solid. Yeah, that was awesome. So I farted around and I didn't really fart around. I ate breakfast and just, turned off the pump, ran minimum water, waited until it got warm. Then I pumped the tank seriously full this time, and now I have a new thing now that's the last thing I do every day is fill the water tank, because that way I know I'll have water in the morning. It's pretty important to get the day started. If you don't have any water and you got to go deal with the water and the water's frozen, that just puts everything on hold. In my world, I mean, if I had emergencies and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm trying not to live on that emergency level. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And when you're living off grid, little things like water, power, sewage that you take for granted anywhere else are things that you have to deal with. It is what it is. I had to spend $250 on hoses, drinking water hoses. Because that's the last thing I want to do is start pumping myself full of lead as soon as I get out here. So all the shit that touches my drinking water is all freaking drinking water shit. Except maybe these little teas I use, but they're plastic. So anyway, just having all those things, just I'm constantly paying attention to my solar app to monitor my battery level. So during the day I don't have to monitor it. Sometimes I just look at it for the fun of it, just to kind of see what it's doing. But so the day before yesterday, I ran the trailer 100% on solar until 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, the battery was totally drained, and I had to plug it. I had to run the generator at 6, right when the sun went down. But the difference between it just running on DC versus being plugged in on AC, it just uses so much more power. So anyway, I unplugged the trailer last night. I was able to get all the way until 8:15 without running the generator. Then I ran the generator till 9, and I turned it back off again. Turned it back on right before I went to bed, so it was about 10:15 or something like that. And then about 11:30 I woke up. And what's different? What's going on? Oh, so when my trailer's running on AC power, plugged in, shore power generator, whatever, it doesn't air condition. It just runs those fans in the air conditioner, so it spreads the heat all over the trailer. So if it's not plugged in, it'll still run the heat, but it'll only run it through its own little furnace system. So it draws a lot less power like that. Well, I had already fallen asleep, and so now it's just a little bit. It's almost 11:30, 40, 11:40, something like that. And I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? Well, the generator had already run out of propane, which I freaking checked it. I swore it was, had some in it, but it didn't. So then I went and grabbed the other tank. Now, mind you, I've already taken a shower, crawled into bed, fallen asleep, and then woke up because something was weird. Now I'm up outside grabbing a propane tank off the front of the trailer, because it has 2, and hooking that up to the generator. And the generator's electric start works now, so that's a freaking sweet deal. Because pulling on a cord in the middle of the night versus pushing a button. So yeah, I'm up. I'm swapping out propane tanks. And the propane tank that I had to swap with, it didn't have much either, but I opted for the trailer to have gas rather than the generator, because it's better to have gas and then run on the batteries than it is to have no heat and plenty of power, because the heat comes from the gas. So, and apparently some trailers won't even run their furnace unless they're plugged into shore power or generator. Like their furnace won't even work. Which, my furnace works fine in a lower state off the DC system. I just have to be concerned about my batteries. Well, then I fell asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and everything was off again, so that tank ran dry as well. So I grabbed my solar app. I didn't have my glasses. I literally can't see my phone for shit anymore without glasses on. And I didn't have them. So I opened up the solar app, and I'm kind of like trying to see in the middle of the night, is it suck my batteries dry, you know? I mean, do I need to get up? Because I got even more propane. I had 2 more small tanks on the front of my other trailer. So I wasn't out of propane. I definitely should have grabbed those tanks before I went to bed. I swear I freaking checked it and it seemed like it had a lot in there, but I don't know. Propane gauges. Boy, I gotta figure out how to freaking remotely gauge propane tanks, because I'm telling you, like, the whole system of pulling the thing off and untwirling shit and picking it up and shaking it, like, that's just stupid. I mean, this is 2018. I should be able to just pick up my phone and see where my levels of my propane tanks are at. Have I looked for that yet? No. So, yes, I'm an idiot. Very busy idiot. Sometimes I don't think of these things until, so now I will look for a propane gauge app, monitoring level app, because that will make my life a lot simpler. I guess you can just rent huge tanks, like giant tanks, from a propane dealer, and they'll just deliver that tank to you, and then maybe lease option, maybe rent big propane tanks, and then it's a lot cheaper too, because they bring out a truck and you pay by the wholesale rate, right? Considering my whole plan is to be running biodigester gas, methane, so swapping out methane for swapping the propane out and swapping in the methane is the plan. So building out an infrastructure that uses propane isn't necessarily a bad idea in this case. Gas is just the way to go. Electric's just not really that great. I was talking with my neighbor about this road, and he's new and old. He's owned property out here 4 years, but he's just always just come out to it. He's never lived here. Now he had to buy different property because his other property, he couldn't get a house out to it because the roads are so messed up. He bought a different property to live on. So he's been out here a bunch. And I was like, damn, we should do something about those roads. And he's like, yeah, we need I think he said grader. So my neighbor and I are talking, and he says we need a grader, I don't know, like a sweeper, just to get the rocks off. The rocks are the ones that are making all the bumps. This is a county road, but the county doesn't really do anything to it.